You only get one UFC debut, right? And you made the most of it tonight. 102 significant strikes landed, finished the fight, and came in as the underdog. How good does that sound to you?
I know how it feels. It feels great. I know I was the underdog. That was really good to have a debut like that. I don't want to fight some of those guys that Azamat fought before me, to be honest. I see a lot of guys in the UFC that are not on this level. Azamat is definitely a guy that could be top 10 easily. He has a record of like 20 fights, one loss maybe. And so that's a great way to start. I feel like fighting someone like that actually makes you proof that you belong here in the UFC level.
Yeah. Well, he seemed to think coming into this fight that you didn't belong on this level, right? He's saying you're only here because Alex Pereira begged the UFC to sign you and all these things. Did you take any of that personally or use it as motivation?
Yes, as motivation, yes. Personally, no. I think it was just a bunch of bollocks. Alex didn't do nothing in that way, I mean, yes, he helps me a lot, inspires me a lot. We train together. Teaches me things. There's a lot of things Alex and Glover do to me, but not in this way of helping me to a contract, So why I got this fight is because some people canceled the fight against Azamat and didn't want to take the fight. It was hard for him to fight an opponent in a short notice. My manager, George Guimaraes, does a great job of helping me, proposing me as the one to step up. And I did right away. I would fight him in 2 weeks' notice. Then we got postponed, so this was really cool for the fight that we both had a full preparation for each other. Obviously, he thought I was an easy fight. I knew he wasn't, and I prepared very well, not just for him, but for the whole UFC roster. I knew this guy got good striking and good wrestling. So if I win, I'm gonna fight a few more guys that have good striking and wrestling. So I prepare for UFC level. I did, and I got the best of him.
Yeah, and he got 2 knockouts to start out his UFC run, and you're in there. You used a lot of movement and used your length and your reach really well. Was that a big part of the strategy?
Yeah, the strategy was to take him out of the fight, either early in the fight or later on. And my idea was to push him backwards to finish that fight. But he wasn't going to let that happen. I felt that, and I was not going to make it a 50-50 fight. So I could have kept on pushing and then make it a 50-50 fight. One of us would go. Either I'd be sitting here happy winning the first round knockout, or him, And I'm not going to do that because I don't want my record like that. Winning one, losing one, Being exciting, but losing fights. So I let him come a little bit, being intelligent and taking my chances at the right moment, until I felt that I could turn the fight. And when I could turn it, I finished him.
And where do you feel, I guess, your evolution in MMA is at this point? You got 4 takedowns. I'm sure this is something everyone's going to try to do to you, or a lot of these guys. We've seen what Alex has been able to do and that kind of transition. Do you feel like you're getting close to where you want to be?
You mean he scored 4 takedowns?
Yeah, I believe that's what they credited him for.
Yeah. I don't feel like he scores takedowns if he don't control. Mm-hmm. He got me to the ground, and then he got 4 cuts in the back of his head. So I was happy with him scoring them because I cut him, and I made him tired by doing that. So I like that. I never fell in trouble. Even when I was on the ground, I controlled him. I had his head positioned wherever I wanted, then got up, made him tired, made him squeeze around my body, and just got out of there easily, then turned him to the fence. That helped a lot in turning that fight.
When would you like to fight again? Is there any name in this division that you'd like to face?
I think it's silly to call out names for someone who just made a debut. I see people do it, calling out top 10 fighters, because that are the names that I know. I don't even know the fighters who are like top 20, 30, right? So it don't make sense to call them out. Also, I don't have a personal issue with anyone. Calling out top 10 fighters don't make sense because 1, it's not going to happen. And 2, I got to prove myself a little bit more, beating guys that are not in the top 10, even though I think I can beat guys in the top 10. So let me do that as soon as possible, for sure. I don't have injuries. Yes, I come from kickboxing before. There's a sport where you fight a lot. So I've been doing fighting a lot. I used to fight every month or every 2 months. And I know I still can do that, even though it's a completely different sport. I think it's more injury-prone MMA because some people get a lot of cuts and stuff, you know, then you cannot train hard or fight. But I didn't. So if you ask me, I'll fight next week. But it's up to the matchmakers and to see on what card I belong, and I'll happily fight.
Yousri right here. Congrats on the win. Obviously, a lot of people know you first as an opponent of Alex Pereira and, of course, now as a training partner. What's the biggest thing you've learned from him over all this time?
Mindset. I mean, yes, there are a lot of technical things we train and I learn from him. But the way he approaches fighting is amazing. It's hard to grasp in words. You can't even put it in a martial arts word. You really got to put it in a warrior style of war and how people used to approach war back in the vintage times, you know, actually going in there and, you know, not sleeping for 4 days, not eating, and, you know, going in the cold and obliterating an opponent. I mean, that's how close you got to get to come in how he approaches a fight. And I take a lot from that. It's hard for you maybe to make sense from that, you know, but I'm trying to paint a picture there. How Alex approaches a fight, and that resonates with me too.
Do you see it resonating with fans as well? You see them really getting behind guys like Alex, getting behind guys like Yousri, who also kind of has that warrior mentality. Do you see that resonating with fans too?
That's true. Yeah, I think what we're doing in here is closest to what was the Gladiators back in the days. Why we're still making movies about that, why we're still reading books about that, because it's a very primal and beautiful thing that humans still have, you know, where we are morally evolved into not killing each other and stuff for no reason. But we have made it into an art where we get close to killing each other, but in a respectful way. It's very hard to paint that picture too. But if you love the sport, you understand this. And you know that we love our opponents in a very weird way after the fight. But to get in there and actually trying to smash his head in the worst way possible, in an artistic way, it's hard to understand. But the true fans understand it, and the martial artists understand it. And that's why we all resonate with each other.
Last one for me. You had led the crowd in that 300 chant. I think you said it was for Sammy, if I'm not mistaken. Just what's the background on that?
The background is, I don't want to get too deep into it, you know, because he's a young guy. But he's going through a hard time. And this is one of his dreams. Another dream is me becoming the champion. But that's not within like a few weeks, right? This was something I could do today. So I did it. And very grateful for the Canadian fans to help there.
Very kind of you. Thanks.
And sticking with the Canadian crowd, there was a couple fights before where the Canadian was fighting, and obviously they were booing the opponent. But with both of you, the crowd was really cheering. Like, how much were you feeding off the crowd? Because they were really into your fight, it seemed.
Yeah. First of all, I heard them cheering, of course, for my opponent because he had some nice wins before this fight. So he already built a little name there. And then when we got into the fight, they liked that we were going at it. You know, they liked the blood. I thought Canadians were the nicest people on earth, right? Yeah. But they were all there. Even it was like I didn't have my morning coffee, and they were already there, screaming for blood. Yeah. I mean, it was the second fight. I didn't expect a lot of people to be there, but the Canadians love fighting, man. And yeah, them cheering on, and you know, and them going at it, like, yeah, let's go. When I looked at it, you know, I was like, oh, that's a really cool crowd, man.
Do you feel like your opponent underestimated you at all in this fight? Like he was a heavy favorite. I know there was, you know, a little bit of kind of hype on his end going in. What did you sort of make of, you know, him going into the fight?
Oh man, he underestimated big time. I saw him talking smack like weeks and weeks ago, and first I thought he was just trying to build the fight. That would be good for him. I mean, that's good for the company. But then I thought, man, this guy is really walking besides his shoes. For a good reason, maybe, because he has a very good record. He had some good opponents. No, not good opponents, but some good finishes. Then at the stare down, he started talking, and I really thought he said to me, like, give me the best fight you can give me. Like I was there to get finished, but at least, do my best or something. I'm like, yo, motherfucker, you got nothing for me. What do you think you are? I said, what are you gonna do? I know you think you can strike, you think you can wrestle, and you can, but I'm not a dummy, bro. And I saw in his eyes at that point that he knew he was in for a fight. I saw in his eyes he expected something completely different. So at least today, when he entered, he knew I was gonna come for a fight. I saw that too. And of course he was. So that's why we could give you guys a fight.
And you mentioned there, obviously, you're early in your career, not going to be calling out opponents, but you do have some history with Israel Adesanya as well. Is that a fight you hope that happens at some point just because you guys have fought before, and obviously Alex fought him as well? Is that a fight that, because I know Adesanya is getting older and I don't know how much longer he's going to fight, but do you hope that fight happens in the UFC at some point?
For sure. First of all, because he's an exciting guy. He's a great striker. I'm sure it would be a beautiful fight. I think we can make a great fight for the fans. I don't have personal issues with him.
Yeah.
I know he's up there. Like, he's done a lot for the sport, for himself. So it wouldn't make sense to call him out right now. But along the line, if that fight's gonna make sense, I'm sure they're gonna be very, very cool to make that one.
Last one for me. How you celebrating tonight?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna take it not too crazy. I'm very excited to be home to my family, like flying home tomorrow. So I want to be there with energy, with the kids. I got a 3 and a 5-year-old. I don't want to be there all hangover and all sleepy. So I'm gonna be with my friends. A few friends came out from the Netherlands, so we're gonna explore Vancouver a little bit. I hear it's a very beautiful country. So we might go out. I'm not gonna maybe go in because I didn't get cars to watch the fight. So we might go out and explore some nature. I think this is a place where you can see bears in the wild, right? That is a big dream of mine. And tonight, explore a little bit more, not too crazy.
Okay, guys? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats.